Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. This is episode 32 of the Canadian Geekcast. I am your returning host, Matt, and it's going to be a little bit of an intimate two-man episode today. I am joined by Steve.
Hello.
Hey.
It's a quiet room here.
Josh is currently dealing with the Grey Cup, and for any non-Canadians watching, the Grey Cup is just the Canadian version of the Super Bowl. Not quite as big, but still, I would say, fairly impressive. Steph is traveling back from Vancouver, I believe it is, and poor Dennis, he loses his crown as the longest-running host, as he's dealing with a total power outage.
Yeah, he would.
So we were just getting ready to go. All the technical issues that we had with XSplit and trying to broadcast live aside, and then all of a sudden his entire video stream just freezes, and then we get a message from him saying that he's got a power outage. So we're just like, you know what? Sorry,
full
Dennis.
Steam ahead.
Yeah,
the show goes on.
Exactly. The Canadian Geekcast freight train stops for nobody.
No one.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just going to be Steve and I today.
Yeah.
And another pre-recorded episode. This is becoming a common thing too. Whenever Steph's not around, we just do a pre-recorded episode.
It's fate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, before we begin, Steve, what have you been up to in the past week? What have you been watching or playing?
So on the watching side, I went and saw the new Fantastic Beasts movie.
Oh, yeah?
Crimes of Grindelwald. It was good. I thought it was better than the last one. The last one I wasn't totally sold on. I didn't really see the need for going back to the Harry Potter universe and whatnot. Okay. This one told, I think, a better story. It was more action-packed, I guess.
Yeah.
There were a few points of, that could have been improved on, but I do like the trajectory the series is heading in.
Yeah, nice.
So I saw that. One thing I do want to point out that I don't think we have it in the show notes here, but they released the trailer for Detective Pikachu.
Oh.
And already, after seeing it, I was sold on it, but I was sold 10 times more seeing it on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
My face just lit up. I was like, I have to see this in theaters. This looks so good. The way they designed the Pokemon, oh my god.
I was pretty skeptical at first. I'm like, why do we need this movie? And then, I saw the trailer, and I was like, yeah, we totally need this film. Just the CGI Pokemon look unbelievable. They did such an amazing job, especially that Charizard.
Yeah.
Wow. And then on Jigglypuff, the fur, and just with how real, even Pikachu and Pikachu's model, it looks so good.
Someone took the scene from with Mr. Mime and zoomed in, and they went and rendered small little fuzz hairs on the top of his head. I was like,
I know.
Get out of town.
Someone was even saying, are his shoulder pads dodgeballs?
Right.
Just just the pattern and everything.
Yeah,
the whole
the
thing.
textures of it.
Yeah, I really, I really hope that it does well. Visuals aside, because visuals are only one part of a film.
Of course.
I really hope that the story is quite good, and I think if they've got the Pokemon Company behind it, and then I'm sure Nintendo's got their hand in there, I don't think we've got anything to worry about.
No.
For the story one.
No, I like you said, I was skeptical as well. I thought this they might go a bit pandering towards the fans and everything with a story like that, or maybe too cookie cutter.
Yeah,
I thought so far from what we've seen, it's great, and seeing it on the big screen was even better.
Yeah,
and then been playing more Red Dead, obviously. I'm trying to at this point, I've soaked everything in that. Unfortunately, a little bit of the magic is now gone.
Yeah.
Of the fidelity and everything, it's just become commonplace. I just pop in and I'm like, oh yeah, of course your footprints, you see your footprints and all this.
Of course these horse testicles shrink and grow.
Exactly, right? Every game should have this. So right now I'm just kind of trying to concentrate on the story beats. I'm at this point I would say I probably have 10 or so hours left of story. Like, I'm pretty close to the end.
Wow.
Yeah, with 10 hours still left. It's
Still,
a large game.
with how big that game is, though.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah, I've been playing that the majority of the time. I've played and finished Hitman 2. That game...
Yeah.
It has its faults. I mean, it doesn't feel like a true sequel. It feels more like an interstitial, like 1.5.
Right.
To a 2. A lot of the same like assets and weapons are brought over from the first. My big point is that because season 1 took an episodic approach, it incentivized me to go back to like every episode and complete it like 100% before the the next episode released. Yeah. This time around, I was just like, okay, I'll just do bang, 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 bang. Got to the end, I was like, but now I don't know really where to go. There's so many levels. I'm like, I'm kind of overwhelmed with like all the options, because the thing is that like the game takes about, like, I would say at most 15 hours to get from beginning to end. Okay. And then because they introduce like challenges and basically incentivize the player to do literally every option of like killing someone, dressing up as someone, etc., etc. Yeah. You can take that 15 hours and expand it to like probably 50 if you're going to do literally everything the studios put in there. So there's a lot to be unpacked in that game. It's just where to begin on this like second playthrough. I'm like, but I really like this mission, but I really want to do this, and so I'll get around to it eventually. I don't think I've been playing much else, actually. What about you?
I haven't been watching too much. We're just Tab and I are just about finished watching Big Mouth. We've got one episode of season 2 left to go.
Okay.
Oh, love the show. Oh man, it is such a good show. It is so crude, like the humor is so crude, but it's so good. And I think everybody that watches it, you know, as long as you get past the crude humor, everybody can relate to this show, because
100%.
We've all gone through it.
Yeah.
Every single human on planet Earth has gone through everything that they're going through, you know, within reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're hopefully I think we'll finish it tonight. We'll watch the last episode tonight.
Nice.
And it was picked up Starlink.
Nice.
As well.
What do you think so
far?
Digital
Deluxe edition. Absolutely love it. It is such a good game. I've been playing it in handheld for the most part. Just because it's easier than trying to fight my kids for the TV, even though it's my TV.
Yeah.
You know, you pick and choose your battles. So, absolutely love it. I've pretty much been playing through with Fox in the R-Wing. You know, I think I've switched
the
to
true
a different...
way.
Exactly, yeah. I think I switched to one other ship once.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't paying attention to the health of the R-Wing, and I lost it. And so I switched to another ship. But then after that, I was like, oh, I've got like 500,000 credits. I'll just respawn back at the last checkpoint, so I don't have to. So I can just keep using.
Yeah,
you know. Right now, I'm on one of the Star Fox mission.
Okay.
Routes, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't played it yet. Yeah. But you know, because you have Fox and his crew, there is a Fox. There is a
storyline
specific, storyline objectives and everything for Star Fox. So I'm currently following along with that. The fact that you can unequip those extra weapons and just use the R-Wing's blasters, they pretty much work on almost everything from what I found.
Sure.
There's like at least enemies that I found. You know, sometimes they chip away health a little bit lower than the specific weapons, but for the most part that. And then I picked up the Return to Arkham remastered collection on Xbox, and the Arkham Knight.
That's the third one, or
fourth one technically, because Arkham Origins, So I got those on Xbox. So I've been playing through. I started playing through Arkham Asylum.
Have you played them before?
I played I beat the first two.
Okay.
Yeah, so I played Arkham Asylum on PC when that dropped, and love that game. I absolutely love that game. I wasn't able to play it with a because I had ATI graphics card, so I couldn't really use any of the physics.
Okay.
The first time around, because that was, I think you either had to have a physics card or an NVIDIA graphics card. But if you kind of want to look back on it, there's videos on YouTube that'll compare, and the stuff that having the physics added to the game was amazing. Like, even just something simple as leaves and papers on the ground blowing as you run past. The way the cape moves and everything is a bit different. It's because it adds actual physics and weight to objects. There was more stuff in hallways and everything. It really did enhance the game. So being able to kind of experience that now on the One X, is nice. So I've been playing through that. Actually, I was working on my Joker impression when I was playing it, and I was creeping out my 6-year-old. I would start reciting lines through the game, all of Joker's lines, and it was fun. And then my daughter she'd ask me a question, and I'd respond as Joker. She'd sigh and roll her eyes. She'd be like, "Okay, Joker, can I do?" And then I'd answer as me. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm having fun." Jeez.
That's awesome. Are you doing a take on Mark Hamill's Joker?
Yeah, it was Mark Hamill's Joker. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then the fact that I can play it remotely on my PC anywhere, I've been doing that, which is nice. So, and as a small aside, speaking of Big Mouth, last week I entered a contest. There's a Twitter channel, and they've got a website called Now Voice This, and so they've held a couple contests. They've held 3 contests now. The first one I completely missed. The second one I didn't go in because I'm not very funny, and you had to tell a joke, and I just couldn't do it. The third one, so the third contest, which just ended last Sunday, was you had to do an impression,
right?
And a tongue twister. So you had to do a tongue twister and an impression of good or bad. And for that, I decided to do Rick the Hormone Monster from Big Mouth was my impression.
Yeah.
And did I save my lines? No, I didn't. I had wrote a little script and everything where he's actually talking to Nick and stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because you showed us or let us hear the recording of it, and I was wondering what the tongue twister was about, because I was like, was that in the show at any point? I couldn't remember, so I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I was think back, but
she sells seashells.
Yeah,
and I was trying to kind of spin it in with originally it was going to be I had a much longer script because it could only be 30 seconds long.
Right.
And so I had originally had this thing where Rick was talking to Nick about I forget what the blonde hair or the redhead girl. I completely forget the character's name. Was talking about her, but then he's like, well, there's this other girl named Sally, and she sells seashells, and it kind of went into that whole thing. Like,
good segue.
So, yeah. So you may hear the Rick, the Hormone Monster, at some point pop up in this episode.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I got to get over my fear of even though this is all pre-recorded, I've got we've got a live camera with you, so I'll just minimize Discord. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of about it for me.
Cool.
Well, shall we dive into this episode?
Yeah. Now that we don't have Dennis talking about Yakuza, we can just dive into our topics.
Oh, he would have probably gone nuts about Detective Pikachu, because wasn't he crazy about the game?
Yeah. So
that would have probably just been an hour's worth of him just going off the rails on the movie.
Yeah.
So. It reminds me of an issue of Spider-Man I did when Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy went lingerie shopping. Of course, the Green Goblin showed up, and he pumpkin bombed the hell out of the place. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same thing.
So our quick news. We've got 4 quick news topics here. The first one is one that is... I squealed because I read it at work, so I had to be kind of quiet. But
right.
I was beyond excited about this one.
Yeah, this is all you, man. I was happy for
Yeah.
you when I saw this.
Oh, yeah. If you watched or heard our E3 live streams, you'll know how crushed and upset and disappointed and sad I was about EA releasing those mobile versions of Command and Conquer until now. So, if you are not familiar, there's a studio called Petroglyph Studios, which is made up of former Westwood Studio developers. They actually released the Star Wars game. Oh, geez, I can't even remember what I can start with. It's an RTS Star Wars game. I own like 2 copies of it because I got it through Steam, through a digital copy through Steam, and then I've got the physical copy. It's awesome. It's actually really good. Anyways, that aside, caught up on random tangents.
Yeah. Command and Conquer, CNC.
Yeah. So EA is working again with Petroglyph Studios to remaster Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn and Red Alert. Yay!
And Matt cheers.
Oh, God. So Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn is the full title. Everybody else, I think, just knows it as Command & Conquer.
Right.
So, yeah, Tiberian Dawn. Because then there's the Tiberian quadrilogy.
Oh.
Because there's Tiberian Dawn,
4.
Tiberian Sun, Tiberian Twilight, or Tiberian War, which is CNC 3, and then Tiberian Twilight, which is CNC 4, which we don't talk about. So this is going to be a remaster of both the first CNC game as well as Red Alert, and it's going to include all of the not DLC. These are expansion packs.
Yeah.
So
It didn't have DLC back then.
I mean, it was ALC additional content or AC additional content because it wasn't downloadable.
Right.
But it was just additional content. It was expansion packs. But the thing is, this is back when you got the full game, and this is stuff. It's like either that they had to cut because they ran out of time, or it was like, all right, what else can we do for this game? Well, after the fact. So Tiberian Dawn is going to be coming with the Covert Ops, which is just a set of I forget how many missions it was. They didn't really have any of the cheesy full motion videos with the actors or anything, but it does have the CGI cutscenes, and it just expands the Command & Conquer game after you have defeated Kane. You know, spoiler alert, Kane goes down, and I think it also, I think the Covert Ops included the Ant campaign, or was that Red Alert? There was a dinosaur one.
Okay.
Where you actually, GDI and Nod kind of put their differences aside because there's dinosaurs that are now attacking and you have to kill the dinosaurs. And it's got the full stuff with Joe Kukin and everybody. So it's not just a quick mission. Like it's fully thought out. It's actually pretty cool. And then Red Alert is coming with Counter-Strike and Aftermath, which both of those games really expand, add a ton of new units and everything. So this was big news. This is pretty awesome. So did it say? I'm trying to remember. Did it say when we were going to see something?
No, it said we haven't started development yet.
Okay. I saw on the Xbox One subreddit, a lot of people were wondering if these are going to be coming to the Xbox because mouse and keyboard support is on the way.
Right.
It's available through, if you're part of the preview program, you can use it. If you're not aware, that's up to developers. So that has nothing. Microsoft is like, yeah, here you go. Do with it what you want. So I'm kind of hoping that this will come with mouse and keyboard support because RTSs have to play with mouse and keyboard. They don't work well with controller.
No, they don't.
So.
Not at all.
But yeah, and there's no microtransactions, so you're going to be getting the games.
Yeah.
And I hope that this is a precursor to seeing Tiberian Sun get remastered because I love that one. I mean, that one had James Earl Jones and Billy D. Williams in it.
Right.
You know, or no, sorry, Billy D. Williams was in the third one. Sorry.
Okay.
I would love to see CNC, all like the other ones get remastered as well, like Tiberian Sun and everything, like because that would be so awesome. But
you gotta vote with your wallet, I guess. I mean, purely based on speculation, they must have had to have had these conversations after the reveal of CNC Rivals, you'd imagine, right? After seeing the lackluster response to that, they're like, well, people clearly want to see more the proper games, so why not, to see if they can remaster. I'm trying to look through this article that you brought up here. Is there any... are they defining this as like a remaster built from the ground up, or are they remastering it on top of the old game?
I'm not sure. I didn't quite see if that...
I can't see when
I read through the press release, I didn't quite see what it was. Mm-hmm. Mind you, I have a feeling we'll probably find out eventually, because I think this was just like the first announcement to build that hype and everything. So I really hope we see something at E3 2019 for this. I think that'd be pretty good, but... There's I mentioned it, I think, one of our earlier episodes. If you go on YouTube and do a search for The Rise and Fall of Command & Conquer Redux, it's a documentary. It's only about 36 minutes long. It's really good. You'll actually be able to see, the rise and fall of the Command & Conquer franchise, and they're trying to get into the MOBA, and, the disaster that CNC4 was and everything. It's really good. So if you like Command & Conquer, I highly recommend checking that documentary out. Mm-hmm. Just a small aside. So, yeah, well, I know I'm keeping close eye on this one.
Absolutely, sure.
So, our next quick news is kind of sad. DLC, Final Fantasy 15's Season 2 DLC has been canceled. And, yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
It's been canceled. I mean, we're still getting... one more episode coming out in March of 2019, but the rest of it is gone, as the director of Final Fantasy 15 has left Square Enix, so I think that obviously had something big to do with that.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Steve?
I mean, yeah, it sucks. I'm sure there were a lot of people, on the team that were looking forward to working on this, and an unexpected leave just kind of shattered that. And also, there were probably a lot of people that bought the season pass looking forward to a second season. Oh, okay. Well, speaking right directly to one of them. Yeah, that sucks, but I mean, I don't know. There's not much really you can do about it. It's one of those things looking back at the Telltale thing, everyone was like, well, you gotta look through the fine print and everything. There's nothing honoring the fact that if you buy a season pass, you're definitely 100% guaranteed to get those items. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. Well, it's something that's, anytime I've purchased a season pass and it's we've got all this stuff coming out, there's always been that little voice in the back of my head. It's well, what if they cancel it? What if this doesn't come? You're out that money. Yeah. It's a risk I'm kind of willing to take. And
that's just it. I've always looked at a season pass as if I believe in the development studio, if I trust them, I'll buy a season pass. If it's something just buy the season pass, we're not going to tell you what it is, etc. I mean, I'll probably just hold off and end up, biting the difference of whatever one DLC pack is versus a season pass.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, this for fans of Final Fantasy 15, this does suck, because it was really going to help expand the backstory and everything of the game. I mean, we do have the film Kingsglaive, which is really awesome. If you haven't seen it, totally check it out. And then there is another short form anime called Final Fantasy 15 Episode Prologue, which is on the way. So we should get a teaser for that in actually just under a month's time from now. And with the second one coming January 10th. So I wonder if they may end up doing that instead of releasing game content.
Just tell the story in a little film.
Yeah, anime, because it probably would be cheaper and easier and faster to release that type of thing than versus the game. I'm not sure, but who knows?
Yeah, it kind of seems weird that they'd set up release episode 1, set up a story, and then just say, "All right, that's it."
Yeah,
and just leave it. I think they'd want to do something with it, at least.
Yeah. looks like there was a $33 million loss by doing this, by that cancellation. So it's definitely not a small amount at all.
No.
So, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
On to our next topic. This one was also pretty big as well. Microsoft is building a diskless version of the Xbox One, or Xbox One S, I should say, which is slated for release in 2019, which is pretty cool, I think. Hoping to release it at a lower price point. So currently the One S is $300 US, so we could be seeing this $100-$200 US console. Yeah. I mean, this is something that a lot of people have been kind of calling for you know, kind of hoping, or there's always the rumors every year that a new console's coming out. It's like, well, this is going to be a diskless, you know, diskless only. It's going to be digital only.
Right.
And then we get a console with a disc drive. You know, I think this is pretty cool. Yeah. This might also be a little stepping stone for Project Scarlet, which is that digital only, supposedly digital only version of you know, the next iteration. As a fellow person with decent internet and lots of bandwidth, what do you think of a digital?
So
rest in peace, Josh's internet.
As I'm not Josh, and have been granted the gift of unlimited internet with decent bandwidth. I think this is great, honestly. I mean, yeah, you look at the minority groups of people, not literal minorities, but I mean, like, the minority of people living in, like, rural areas that are, you know, with data caps and everything. I don't think that this is clearly not catered towards them. This is catered towards
not at all.
People living in major cities. This is, you know, and I think having it at a lower price point, like you said, this could be a $200 console. That's undercutting basically everything else that's on the market. Mm-hmm. And as long as the power is in there to create the same graphical fidelity that an Xbox One S can, I don't see why you wouldn't want this, at least as an option.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, big time.
And then you brought up the fact that this could be like a test for what Scarlet could be. I don't know if it's in this specific article, but I was reading something that because they're still in talks of whether Scarlet is going to have a disk drive or not, they're basically going to look at this new diskless Xbox as well. Mm-hmm. What are our options? Are more people going to be enticed to buy a diskless console, or do we still have to have that factored in?
Yeah. I know for me, there's still times where having a disc is kind of handy, especially if you can get a game on sale or, you know, for cheaper, because digital games don't generally go on sale too much.
No, not unless like they do like their summer sale, Black Friday sale. Like, you're basically tethered to what Xbox wants to put on the marketplace at whenever during the year.
Exactly. Yeah. But that being said, there is a new program that's going to also be coming with this new system.
Which is awesome. This is so smart.
Yeah, it is.
So
Disc
smart.
to digital. So if you have physical copies of games, you can actually go to, or you will be able to go to an authorized retailer, such as a Microsoft store, and exchange your physical copy for a digital download code. So this is something that I've seen so many people on the Xbox One sub, like for years, have been calling for. They want a way to be able to turn in their, you know, convert their physical copies into digital games. And there's a ton of naysayers out there. And I know I was one of them. It's like, why would they do this? They're going to have a stockpile of physical games that they're going to now have to figure out what to do. Mm-hmm. You know, you're just creating waste. But no, Microsoft has figured out a way to do it. I know people are probably going to exploit it, not like I was thinking of doing that myself.
But I mean, is it really? It's not an exploit. You're just taking advantage of the system.
Yeah, because, you know, you wanted a physical copy or digital copy of a game. You don't want to spend the $80 on it. Go pick one up for $10. You know, some $10-15, and there you go. You got your digital copy for on the cheap.
Yeah,
but you know, that's going to be pretty cool. I'm really excited about that because I'm going to probably turn in all of my physical Xbox One games and turn them into digital copies. The downside to digital, and we see it all the time whenever, you know, Xbox Live or PSN goes down,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of have trouble getting access to that digital library.
Yeah. Recently, Xbox Live went down, I think like a few days after the release of Red Dead. And I just happened to pop in and I was like, oh, Xbox Live is down. I went on Twitter to see if there was like a known issue or if it was just me and my account or whatever. And I saw a whole bunch of people responding to Xbox Support's tweet, and they were basically saying, like, even if I have it on disc, I can't play the game because it requires an online connection.
Really?
So I think we're slowly getting into the place where it doesn't really matter if you have it on disc or if it's digital. If you don't have an internet connection, you're not playing these games.
Yeah. Well, and that was one of the things that Josh was kind of complaining about. I think it was... Oh, no, it was with Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Recently, where even though he's had the disc, he's still got it. It's still downloading, and like there's almost no point in having a physical copy anymore.
No.
So supposedly though, if the service goes down, if you switch your Xbox to offline mode, you can
still
resume playing those games. So
yeah.
I mean that is a bit of a workaround, but it is definitely a big risk and problem as we go more digital content. Your system needs to check in to verify the legitimacy of your license and everything. So
of course, and obviously people bringing up licenses, people always bring up the fact that if you have a digital game, you're essentially licensing it from Microsoft, PlayStation. So that's another big risk, but as we've seen before, they can actually go into a disc and remove like a certain song or something, like they did with I think it was Grand Theft Auto 4.
Well, there wasn't Alan Wake as well.
Or
no, they just
took that down. They took that down.
Yeah.
So I mean, pros and cons, but at the end of the day, at least for me, I don't like the clutter of having 100 discs on the wall, and I also just like the convenience of being like, well, I want to play this. Boop boop boop. It's loaded. I don't have to get up, switch a disc. It was funny, like after I saw this, I went to pop in a Blu-ray in my Xbox. I was like, tried to put it in, it wouldn't go in. I was like, I don't even remember what disc is in here at this point. Like, it was so long. And of course, it was like Halo Master Chief Collection. I was like, I played this like months ago. That's how often I use my disc drive. So I'm for this. I'm 100% for this.
Now, I'm wondering, I wonder if this is just going to be for Xbox games, or if you're going to also be able to do this for 360 and original Xbox as well. Because I've got quite a few 360 games.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, with the Xbox One being backwards compatible, technically, if I were to, say, take my copy of Halo Reach and go and get a digital copy, I should then be able to play that on my 360 if I want. So I don't think that's been made clear yet. So hopefully we'll get some more info about if this is just for X1 games or if it supports them all. Mm-hmm. I know I won't get rid of my Halo 2 one because that's the collector's tin, but
yeah.
And I think my Mass Effect 2 and 3, Perfect Dark, those ones I'll keep. I don't care, but yeah, I guess we'll find out. So our next one is Disney finally comes up with a name for their online service. Wow, they're really thought hard on this one. It's called Disney Plus.
That guy deserves a raise.
He does. He's in line for CEO because, jeez. So Disney Plus.
No, like they came out of the woodwork and all of a sudden just announced, like, yeah, it's called Disney Plus, and then everyone took it online, tweeted it and everything, and then all of a sudden they started coming out with more news. They confirmed that the Loki series was greenlit. That will be moving forward. They confirmed that a Rogue One prequel TV show was going to be produced.
Oh yeah, oh nice.
I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy, the main character, the male, anyways, he would be returning.
Oh cool.
Yeah. And then obviously they have the Metachlorian series. And that was basically it. I know on our notes here, there were still rumors about a Winter Soldier and Falcon series, a Scarlet Witch series. I don't think they confirmed those. I could be wrong. But I know that we at least got two additional confirmations the same night. Like they just went all out with that. I was
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, wow. Is Tom, like, for the Loki series, is that going to be
Tom
Hiddleston?
Hiddleston. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so it seems like they're throwing a whole lot of money at this. I don't blame them. And basically, based on what I've seen so far, I think that, based on Disney's track record.
Service, though.
But it's Disney's, I mean, I kind of give it to them. Because it's Disney, I feel like, they just earn a place just for being Disney. I don't know.
I guess. Was there anything said about whether or not you can have their for their movie, their entire back catalog? Because if this service allows you to watch every Disney film ever
like the
produced,
vault,
yeah, the entire vault. If you can
they've
get
never
that,
said.
then...
They haven't said. It wasn't in this Variety article, but the actual article upon release, Bob Iger did say that this Disney Plus is going to be catered towards family productions, so family things. So as like in previous shows, mostly me and Dennis were just speculating, well, because Luke Cage and Iron Fist were canceled on Netflix, does that mean that Disney's basically acquiring them to bring them back over? That can't be the case at this point, unless they're going to tone down both characters, make it like a right. PG-13 production. I think those two shows are now dead. They're just not coming back.
Huh.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. We'll see if we get more info as well as this goes on.
Yeah, I really, really hope that when they launch this in the States, they launch it at the same time in Canada. Because sometimes you get that.
Oh, absolutely. Especially
with Hulu. Look at Hulu. I mean, we don't have it here, so.
No, I've used Hulu. I've had a Hulu subscription. It was okay. Even though you're paying for it, you still get commercials.
Yeah, because you got to upgrade your account. And
yeah. Well, I would say that is that's the end of our quick news topics. So we are now going to dive into our topic number 2.
Are your pulses pounding? Can you feel its eyes upon you? The dweller in the dark is watching.
All right, I'm going to hand this one over to Steve.
So we missed an episode last week, and it just happened to be the same week that Xbox held their XO18 event. For those that don't know, XO used to be basically Microsoft's standalone conference. This year they brought it back. They basically dedicated it to be a 2-hour-long inside Xbox production. Mm-hmm. Held it in Mexico City, invited all the fans out to participate. And they did a pretty good stream, in my opinion. Lots of news came. Obviously, if you went in with high expectations, you were probably a little disappointed. But if you went in with realistic expectations, you'd probably be content with what they came out with. Just kind of doing a short list here. Starting off with I would say the biggest news is that Microsoft acquired 2 new studios. One being Obsidian Entertainment, and the other being In Exile Entertainment.
I've never heard of the second one.
Me neither. Until I looked it up after the fact. They did, I think it was Wasteland.
Okay.
I think it had its niche audience.
The Bard's Tale. Oh, I've heard of that one.
Yeah. So
Heist.
These are
Shoplifter HD. I'm just looking at that. I just quickly pulled up the games that they've developed. Shoplifter HD. That's like a throwback to old school games.
And that's kind of what really excites me about these. These are 2 very RPG centric studios. Something that I think Microsoft is lacking at this point. 2 Western RPG focused studios, and having both of these, I mean, you look at Obsidian. They did KOTOR, South Park: Stick of Truth, Fallout New Vegas. These guys, they know RPGs. I think this is huge for them. I was really skeptical if the Obsidian Entertainment rumors were true. I did a short predictions thing, and one of the things was I highly doubt it's going to be Obsidian. If anything, I was going to say that it was going to be Studio MDHR, who did Cuphead.
Okay.
Because, I think Cuphead kind of met their expectations in terms of sales and everything, and So I thought I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the line and Microsoft's looking at acquiring them to back them more.
Right.
But based off what we got, that's awesome. What else did they announce? They announced Crackdown 3 finally getting a release date.
Yeah, I know you guys are really excited about that one.
I'm fairly excited. I like the Crackdown series. It was funny because for months now, we've talked about it on the podcast many times. I could have sworn this game had a release date already. That was the mega date of I think it was February 23rd. Turns out, I did a little bit of searching afterwards because I could have sworn they did this. After E3, they released a tweet saying the date of February 23rd, whatever day that Metro Days Gone is.
22nd, yeah.
22nd. They put that out, and within 12 hours, they ripped it down. So it did come out. It did come out, but they ripped it down. And then afterwards, they just had the tentative, it's going to be released in February. Until now. And then I guess they're pulling it early, one day after Valentine's Day. Those cheeky sons of bitches.
Well, it's perfect for all the people that have a very crappy Valentine's Day.
They get to jump into Crackdown.
And have, have fun and do something enjoyable if you've had your heart crushed.
Yeah, and for fans that haven't ever played a Crackdown game, Crackdown is now free on the Microsoft Store until November 30th, so go and play it. I mean, it's a fun game. I prefer
Is it just what kind of game? Because I've never played Crackdown before. Is it like an open world?
It's open world. It's kind of like a collectathon.
Okay.
It's obviously action heavy. There's a lot of traversal. So as you can see, kind of looking at Crackdown 3, there's a lot of jumping from building to building. You're basically like a superhero with guns. Almost
nice.
Super jumps, super strength, that sort of thing, and then there's also some light RPG elements. You're building up your character, unlocking new skills and everything. Story wise, you're basically in Crackdown 1, anyways. You're tasked with taking down four or five. I think it's four different crime lords. So you're basically just going and taking over a set amount of territory of the city.
Yeah.
Reclaiming it as your own, that sort of thing.
Huh.
Yeah. It's a fun game, especially for free. I don't know why not. Let's jump in and try it. What else there was a lot in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it?
I didn't know.
Okay.
We had a friend coming over, and I had to do some running around and stuff. So I was following it, kind of some stuff that was going on in one of the Slack channels that I'm in for the Xbox One mod team, and just comments that you guys were making as well. So
so they also brought a whole lot of games to Game Pass. I think more than anything, their message was we're 100% committed to Game Pass, and for some, I mean, it could have been a little too preachy of the service, but I thought it was handled really well. They announced 14 games for Game Pass coming this month and in the near future. So we got PUBG coming to Game Pass. Yeah. Void Bastards, which looks really cool. It's a game produced by Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead. So it's kind of got that cell art.
Cell shaded stuff?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hellblade.
Oh, nice.
Big.
Yeah, I still need to finish that.
You really have to.
I do. I know I really do.
Not really surprising, but Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps is coming to Game Pass. Thief of Thieves, Season 1.
Thief of Thieves?
Thief of Thieves.
Thief of Thieves?
Thief of Thieves. Thief of Thieves. Maybe I should have done that.
Maybe I should have done that for my entry here too.
Jeez. I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head now. Season 1 is a brand new IP. Looks cool. That was available right after the show, so people can go play and pick that up now. And what else came? The Good Life, Kingdom 2 Crowns, Aftercharge, Supermarket Shriek, Mutant Year Zero, Pathologic 2, Secret Neighbor, which confused me. all of a sudden they just rebranded Hello Neighbor.
Really?
Yeah. It came out, and it has the name Secret Neighbor now. So I don't know what kind of shenanigans they're pulling over at Microsoft here, but yeah, all of a sudden, just a weird new name.
A group of players sitting in a creepy neighbor's basement. I'm just looking it up right now.
Yeah. While you do that, I'll quickly run through the rest. The Good Life, Agents of Mayhem, which is the Saints Row-esque game.
It's an expansion pack.
Oh, it's an expansion pack. Okay.
It's an expansion to Hello Neighbor. Okay, that's why.
So then it's the full game, I'm assuming. Okay. Yeah, because they said the name. I was like, what, you mean? I thought it was a flub, like maybe on the teleprompter or something. But
yeah.
Then I saw the graphic. I was confused. And the last two games, Thomas Was Alone and MXGP3. So, that's a lot of games.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's Games Pass is becoming more and more like the perfect thing to get. Like, honestly, you could buy an Xbox and get a subscription to Games Pass, and you're done.
Yep.
A friend of mine was wondering if she should get a PS4 or an Xbox One, and I was like, depending on what exclusives you want, that'll kind of may swing you. But this is why I prefer the Xbox, and Games Pass was kind of one of the big things. And then she was saying like her husband wants to play the Lego games. I was like, well, backwards compatibility.
Yeah, you got that as well.
But yeah, no, Games Pass is such an awesome thing, and I'm really glad that Microsoft did that, because I think that's, I could see Sony trying to. I think Sony's still trying to catch up with this.
Yeah, like when they announced this, it was huge. Like I think this is probably one of the biggest moves we've seen in the industry this generation. Is a focus on like a Netflix style curated list of games that you can just pop in and pop out of. And now we're starting to see like more and more big games are coming to the platform. It's remarkable, honestly. Now it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Now obviously it's not for the people who want to play brand new game day one.
Third party brand new game day one. If it's first party day one games, then they get on Games Pass.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, for someone who may be on a budget or maybe never really got into games before, like you buy someone an Xbox and a subscription to Game Pass this holiday season, you give it to them, they're set. Like, yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of games is getting DLC, State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, Minecraft, you're getting pandas and cats. That game has taken a big shift from what I remember it being. Oh, yeah.
I remember like when it first came out, and you had to have like a special version of Java installed and everything. I think I still have that installed or somewhere. But, who was the creator of that? Notch?
Notch, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he would have ever thought that the game would have got this big.
No. There's no way in hell. I mean, even when you compare it to Fortnite, Minecraft is still holding its own as one of the biggest games in the world.
Yeah. And there have been other games that have tried that building type of game that have come and gone, and Minecraft is still there.
Yeah,
it's like Nintendo and Mario.
Exactly.
And
every year I'm like, are they gonna do Minecraft 2? Like, are they gonna abandon it at some point? I don't see why they would, but
they can just keep adding on to the existing game.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then we brought this up before, but mouse and keyboard support coming to 14 major titles. I'm not going to go through all of them, but one of the big ones is obviously Fortnite, getting it on the Xbox. One of the big things they mentioned is that they worked really hard with Epic, so it's an opt-in, opt-out feature, so people like Josh who don't like to play against mouse and keyboard people, they can be in their corner while the others play with themselves. That's cool.
I might give it another try.
Really?
I might, if I can hook up because I think that's one of the things that I don't like PUBG and Fortnite, is because I still don't like using a controller for a shooter. That's still my big thing. So I might because I have a decent gaming keyboard. I just have to dig up a mouse, and I might actually give it one more go.
Have you tried it on your PC?
I don't have I just have onboard video because my PC, I built it for silent so it's for voice work.
Gotcha.
So I can't really play too many games on there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically the long and short of it. I thought it was overall a pretty good conference, considering I had a feeling that they weren't going to come out swinging with, like, Halo, Gears of War. Like, that's stuff for E3. This was a more show for, like, the fans of Xbox, people who want to see more of the games from Xbox. I think they had a pretty good show overall.
Yeah.
Slightly disappointed they didn't end with, like, a Banjo-Kazooie revival, but pickers can't be choosers.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I was kind of excited about was, as much as I've harped on the game, Final Fantasy 13, that trilogy is hit backwards compatibility as well.
Yeah.
This is going to be my third, maybe fourth attempt at trying to play 13.
Jeez.
I know, like, the first few times, the fact that you could only control one character, all your other characters were, controlled by the AI, or you'd set them with different, specific roles.
Right.
And it was just, you could just literally do every battle just by mashing X, or, whatever for accept, depending on what system you're on. I didn't like it, but then I played 15, and 15, aside from being an open battle system, is similar to that in that your other companions are controlled by the game,
right.
And you really could just play through just by mashing one button. So I'm like, okay, I loved Final Fantasy 15, we'll give 13 a try.
Yeah.
So, and the fact it looks gorgeous as an enhanced X1X title, enhanced. It looks awesome. And it was $10.
Wow. That's cheap.
So I picked up all 3 games for $30.
So they're selling them separately, I'm assuming. Oh, okay.
Because you still buy them off you buy digital copies off the Xbox 360 store.
Right.
But they're BC titles, so you get them on your Xbox, and then it downloads the X1 enhanced visuals and everything. So, yeah, so
that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So what's our next?
So keeping on kind of like the conference news, we got news that Sony has pulled out of E3 2019. Which is pretty shocking. It's going to be the first time in 24 years that the company has not attended the conference. This is big.
Yeah. Well, they're not even going to have a presence.
No, like they're just not there. So this is going to be a ton of open floor for Nintendo, Microsoft, third parties.
Well, Microsoft doesn't even really do. They do their own thing
FanFest,
kind of across the street in their theaters.
Right.
Is kind of where they do. I mean, it's still kind of E3-ish.
Yeah. I mean, that brings up a good point. Like, they do their own thing, really. EA does their own thing outside of the convention studio. I don't know, man. Like, E3 is just coming less and less important as time goes on.
Yeah. Like you've got stuff like Gamescom, and then companies are doing kind of their own thing, which is gaining popularity. I think Nintendo kind of was one of the first ones with pulling out of E3 and switching over to the digital, like just the pre-recorded videos, and then they do their directs every once a month, every couple months or so.
Yeah, usually every 2 or 3 months they'll do, and I think that's really smart. I mean, you look at E3 this past year for Sony, it was very divisive.
It was a waste of time.
And I mean, what they showed was impressive, but the way they showed it wasn't most ideal. It was basically just the same thing we saw at PSX. We're clearly coming to a place where both Sony and Microsoft want out of this generation. They want to get the Scarlet, the PS5 out there so they can start talking about games.
Yeah.
Which basically brings me to this, where I can only assume that Sony's going to do something probably in the spring and just call it
like their own thing,
their own PSX.
When is PSX normally?
Usually in December, so it's usually 1 week before or after the Game Awards. I think it's before the Game Awards.
Gotcha.
Which I don't really think makes sense for them to hold off that long to do PSX, announce their big console right before Boxing Day, Christmas. they're just going to blow up their own sales, right? No one's going to
Yeah.
no one's going to buy a PS4
It's gonna be like the
PS4
Wii U.
Exactly.
Or the Wii, where
Yeah.
they'll announce it and no stores are going to have it in stock.
So I think it only makes sense that they're going to come out in spring, say we're doing a PSX or just a PlayStation conference, whatever you want to call it. Here's the PlayStation 5. Get it out there. We'll see you later. Don't have a presence at E3 because we already know what's coming out. We have Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, Days Gone. We know that. All we don't know is what the PS5 looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone is pretty much convinced that consoles are being announced this coming year in 2019. And
Makes perfect sense.
it does. That way we get them in 2020. That leaves us with basically a 7-year cycle.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
I think
decent.
the only one that's not going to announce a console is Nintendo.
You think so?
I think so.
Yep.
I think next year we'd see a refresh. Sorry. Okay, I'm still thinking 2018. I think 2020 we'll see a refresh of the Switch potentially,
Okay.
but not 2019.
Okay.
That's
I'm
kind of-
I'm
but-
50-50 on it. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, here's a dockless Switch or here's an upgraded Switch for the fall.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something to go alongside with like the new Pokemon or something. I don't know. But yeah, Microsoft, Sony, they're announcing their consoles this year, and for people who were shocked that Sony's not going to be there, I was like, why would they ever announce their console at E3?
Yeah.
You're competing with news cycles, right? If Xbox all of a sudden was like, hey, at E3 we're going to announce the Scarlet, Sony's like, whoa, so are we.
You know what? I guarantee. I think that's what. Well, and then after seeing Phil's tweet about this, it's like, you know, Phil's throwing shade. I think Microsoft is going to be showing off something big at E3 this year. It's kind of like I don't know, throwing something at Sony for
Why
this.
not? I mean, they're direct competition, whether you consider them direct competition or not at this point. They just backed out. They left that window open. Because usually, correct me if I'm wrong, but Microsoft and Sony always hold their conferences on the same day. Is that correct? I want to say Microsoft's in the morning, Sony's at night, correct? And then the next day is always Nintendo.
No, because this last year they were on different days. Because
Were they?
I think Microsoft's was on
the
Sunday.
That's right.
And then Sony's was like the day after. Because I remember.
Yeah.
It was Sony's was on the Monday
Yeah.
because my wife was home for that one because she took the kids.
No, you're right. Okay. Anyway, never mind. I just think that Sony wants to get theirs probably out first, demonstrate whatever power it has in it, and they want to do it separate, just so that they're not competing with any news cycle. They have that news churn, right? Here's the PlayStation 5. Everyone's going to pick that up, run away with it, and they've got the coverage. If they're at E3 doing that, all of a sudden people are going to be talking about the next conference after that, and whether it's Nintendo's, Xbox, whatever, Square Enix, who cares? But yeah,
Well, it's gonna make if we do live show again, it's gonna make that a lot easier.
yeah.
You know, it's gonna be easier on us. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens toward next month with the Video Game Awards, and then beginning of next year and stuff. We'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
See what's going on. Yep. Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Are you Tony Stank?
Yes, this is Tony Stank.
All right, our third topic in the world of film, TV, comic books. So Marvel Comics creator? You say creator?
I wasn't the creator he was a writer,
Okay.
publisher, editor.
Yeah. Marvel Comics legendary writer, editor, publisher of Stan Lee has passed away at 95 years old. So this happened on the 12th, I believe it was. So last Monday.
Was it that
Or
one?
was it Sunday?
No, it was definitely
It
during the
was
week.
last week.
Yeah.
I think it was Monday.
Mm-hmm.
He's been kind of battling some illness and everything, and so it's not I know this is going to sound really insensitive. It's not surprising that his end came to him, just based on the issues that he's been having with his health. But it's like the world is mourning his passing, just because Stan Lee and his creations have touched millions of people around the world. So many people got their start in these industries just by reading his comics, whether they went on to create their own or wanting to act or developing shows. Like, there's so many people that have been touched by his works, and it was kind of really touching seeing on Twitter all of the memories and comments and everything from people that have experienced working with him and whatnot. It was really sad for his passing.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, like you said, it wasn't really that surprising. Like you said, because of like health concerns. I mean, look at his age; he was 95 years old. That's a hell of a life. Yeah, he left behind an incredible legacy. Just kind of going through his work here, he helped create Black Panther, Spider-Man, X-Men, Thor, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, Hulk, Daredevil, Ant-Man. I mean,
like, this is almost every Marvel character. He's
at least like
it would probably be safe to say he's had his finger in.
Yeah. And then he was very behind the message of like halting like the racism movement and all that. Like he created like Black Panther. He created like the X-Men as conduits for what was happening in the real world. Like he was a very progressive thinking creator.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like I think whether you're a creative person in the industry or you're not, at some point you had to have come across the work of this man. Like whether indirectly or directly, he's probably affected your life in some way. Like he's an incredible writer, and this is sad.
Yep. There's a really good interview that I saw Kevin Smith posted on his Twitter, and it was just or somebody else posted on their Twitter, and it was an interview with Kevin Smith, and I think the caption was "Stan Lee is a racist," and the whole thing was to get people to actually watch the video, because as soon as I saw him, like, what the crap is this? It's like, it's a clickbait title that got me, but still. And Stan Lee talks about how when he created a lot of these characters and helped create these characters, it was to help break down those barriers and combat racism and the prejudice and everything. So you got people that look at comic books as a waste of time, but you know what? No, they're not.
Yeah, they have strong messages behind them, and they all came from this guy. This man. It's like we all know what's gonna happen in the next Avengers. They're gonna have some sort of memoriam at the end of the movie, and
there's and I would absolutely love to see this. So there was a thing that I saw. I think I saw it on was it on Tumblr? Is somebody shared this post? Is that they should have in every Marvel movie from this point on, they should actually have Deadpool.
I saw this, yeah.
pretty much cosplaying as Stan Lee in the background, in the background of these movies. So it'd be Deadpool but with the glasses, mustache, and everything. But then he'd get called out on it, and it'd be very fitting for Deadpool. Yeah. And I think it would also be a really funny homage to Stan Lee. Yeah. And I think it would be really funny if they were to do that. But from what I've heard, his cameos have they've filmed tons of his cameos, so they're kind of set for them in all these films. I'm curious how they did that, especially for movies that haven't even been announced yet.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see.
Well, I know that probably like a handful of movies ago, he stopped doing like he stopped coming to location to film them.
Okay.
Just because of his age, his health, and all that. So I'm assuming that they must have done like some sort of green screen, and they're probably very generic kind of cameos.
I think you're right.
Him just like popping in and like saying something witty, so they can kind of work a scene around that.
Yeah. So, yeah, no longer will we see him as the clueless librarian with the scene being destroyed behind him, or the judge in a bikini contest.
Oh no, or Hugh Hefner.
as Hugh, or Larry King.
Larry King.
What was it from X-Men 3? Oh, he was just a neighbor in X-Men 3.
Yeah.
Wasn't he just a neighbor watering his lawn?
Yeah.
I think he was a taxi driver in the first Spider-Man. Didn't believe superheroes.
Yeah.
He drove the pickup truck in Thor, the first Thor movie.
Yeah.
Tried to pull Mjolnir out of the ground.
He was a delivery man for Tony Stank.
Yeah. Yeah.
He drank that neon green bottle of soda in Hulk with Banner's blood in it.
Oh, I don't remember that.
No.
Was that in which Hulk was that in?
Incredible
was that in
Hulk.
the first the first one?
Second.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Edward Norton
you
one.
You can tell I've seen those movies.
Of course, because it's so good.
Yeah. I'm sure if you were to look on YouTube, if there's going to be at least
there are. I've seen them on
people.
Reddit doing like the whole like run of them.
Yeah, so I'm sure you can grab those. So.
Yeah.
But it's the entertainment world has lost a big name. It'll be interesting to see who picks up the gauntlet.
I don't think anyone can.
No,
I think it was like a time and place, and like under different circumstances. I don't think someone like this will ever exist again.
It's yeah. So, well, shall we move on to our last topic?
I guess.
Oh, man. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, at that time, I was a Federal Express man.
Hey, fellas. Hey, wait, where are you going? Hey, you were supposed to be my lift home. How will I get out of here? Hey, gee, I've got so many more stories to tell. Guys. Oh, gee.
All right, Dennis, why don't you give us your video game releases of the week?
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Dennis. That was great.
Awesome. So many great games.
Yeah, so great. Okay, you know what? Do you?
Oh my god.
I'll quickly go through this list. All right. So starting on November 12th, this is the video game releases for the 12th to the 23rd, because we had last week off due to Remembrance Day. So on the November 13th, we have Hitman 2, Project High Rise Architects Edition, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, My Riding Stables, Life with Horses, The Room 3. I really hope that Rooms 2 and 3 come to the Switch. So they've got The Room 3.
You were telling us about this a couple weeks back, weren't you?
Yeah, when The Room came out, Steph and I were raving about the game. It's a really good puzzle game.
Yeah.
It's really good. So I highly recommend checking them out. They are available on mobile as well. But looks like, they're coming to other platforms.
Cool.
We've also got Chim Party, Knowledge is Power, Decades, Just Deal With It, Runner 3, Gnome's Garden, New Home, Gnome's Garden 2, and Emerald Shores. And we've got SNK 40th Anniversary Collection and Mahjong. So that's coming out on the 13th. As you noticed, I'm skipping platforms because I think
we're not Dennis.
What's our timestamp right now? Yeah, we're at an hour 10 already. So
we respect the audience's time.
Yeah. On the 14th, we've got Fallout 76 coming, so that just dropped a couple days ago. The Long Journey Home, Word Hunters and Melbit's World, and Chalk Dash Carnival and Palm Reading Premium. On the 15th, we've got Stakes Winner 2, Underworld Ascendant, Warhammer 40,000, Mechanicus? Sure, yeah. We don't have our cunning linguist Dennis here to give us all the correct pronunciations. We've also got Bad Dream Fever, The Settler's History Collection, Hellgate London, Killer 7, and Sand is the Soul. Those are coming actually PC only. If you've never played Killer 7, it was a GameCube title where you are, I want to say you're an assassin with multiple personalities.
Okay.
And was it cel shaded? I don't remember if it was cel shaded. It was a really good game. I highly recommend checking it out.
Sweet.
Highly recommend. Yeah. On the 15th, we've got Monkey King, Master of the Cloud, and Ticket to Ride. We've got Trailblazers, Ho Pico, Solitaire Battle Royale, Rockets, Rockets, Rockets. I wonder if that's a sequel to Tank, Tank, Tank. Tank, 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 that was on the Wii U. Because that was a lot of fun. My kids like playing that one.
Oh, yeah?
We've got Mace, Space Shooter, Mippy Dreams, Mother Russia Bleeds, Tin Boy, Soap Dogum, Johnny Turbo's Arcade Heavy Barrel, Atomic Robo Kid, Destruction, Super Hyroda?
Hydora?
Super Hydora, thank you. Swamp Defense 2, and Teddy the Wanderer, Kayaking. Okay, I'm not unconvinced that developers just have a board of acronyms, nouns,
that's exactly
and
what they
verbs,
do.
and they just throw darts.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, what's our game going to be called?
Swamp Defense.
3 darts. There we go.
Mimpy Dreams.
Johnny Turbo's Arcade Heavy Barrel. Like, some of these names. On the 16th, we've got Mars Chaos. Oh my goodness. Do I have anything else to drink?
Mars Chaos Menace, Distrust, Double, Bad North, and Sunset Overdrive. Finally, it's Sunset Overdrive on PC.
Yes, thank you. As a voice actor, I should have had more water. I should have known better. Where?
We're on,
So that was November...
Nintendo Switch only Pokemon.
November 16th. Okay, yeah. On Nintendo, also on November 16th, we've got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, Sid Meier's Civ 6, Circle of Sumo, Smite, and Toast Time Smash Up. On the 20th, we've got Storm Boy, the game, Slayaway Camp, Butcher's Cut. I wonder what kind of game that is. Sounds like a sledding game.
Slay Away.
Yeah, exactly. ATV Drift and Tricks, Definitive Edition.
Gundamoniums?
Gundamoniums. Yeah, Gundamoniums.
All right.
Mecha Wars, Desert Ashes, Farming Simulator 19 and Battlefield 5, Bendy and the Ink Machine, and YouTuber's Life OMG Edition. Good lord.
Like, why is Dennis putting this in here?
Dennis, what are you doing to us? Why is this a game? YouTube?
And why do we need
Oh
to...
my god. Okay, so I quickly looked at the trailer for YouTuber's Life OMG Edition because I was oddly curious. It's like a chibi version of The Sims, but you are a YouTube streamer.
Yeah, and you can do...
Why?
You can party on a boat, you can be a chef. You can
Why?
You can stream video games. Wow, this is just like being on YouTube. What a game. On
Shovelware
sale now.
is what it's
Yeah.
called. Jeez.
Wait a minute, it says on sale now. Oh, on Steam, and then it's coming out on the 20th. Okay.
So what else do we have here on the 20th? We've got Squishies, Beat Saber, Flashback, Boxing Apocalypse, Crow the Legend, and Actun Cthulhu Tactics. On the 20th as well, we've got Warframe and Moto Racer 4, and if I'm not mistaken, I think is Warframe the one made by the Canadian?
Yeah, in Burlington or...
It's in London.
Yeah,
It's
sorry. You're probably going to find it.
Digital Extremes.
There it is.
Digital Extremes, yes. So if you are Canadian, definitely support Warframe. You're supporting Canadian devs. Warframe's developed in my hometown of London, Ontario. What else do we have? On the 21st, we've got Desktop Soccer. We've also got Emerald's Shores, Experiment Gone Wrong.
Rogue.
And that's it for the 21st. Okay. Experiment Gone Rogue. The title's gone wrong. This is amateur hour. Holy crap.
Because we're not Dennis. We don't do this on a weekly basis.
I
feel like Dennis also practices in front of a mirror before we do the show.
I think so.
Just to get those hard to pronounce words down.
I think so, yeah. I think you're right. On the 22nd, we've got I Am the Hero, Woodpunk, Titanic VR, World of One, ATV Drift and Tricks, Adventures of Bertman, Fiddle, Episode 2, A Bleaker Predicament.
Jesus.
God. Battery Jam. Nidhogg 2, Party Hard. Word Sudoku by Pogi. Bibby and Tina, Adventures with Horses. Bibby Bloxburg, Big Broom Race 3. Gem Crash. Miss Splosion Man, which I have on 360. Haven't actually played it, but...
Now you can play it on the Switch.
Came with the 3. Yeah. Panda Hero, Please Don't Touch Anything, Steamberg, Zeus Quests Remastered, and Waku Waku Streets. And finally, on the 23rd, we also have Achtung Cthulhu Tactics, but that one's coming to Xbox One. I think before it was coming to what?
Switch, bro.
That was coming to PS4.
Oh, PS4.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming to Switch. And we also have Forever Forest.
Wow.
It's coming to the 23rd.
Thanks, Dennis.
So, yeah, thanks, Dennis. If any of those games sounded interesting, Google it to see what platform it's coming on. So you can tell we just kind of burned through it. Yeah. Oh, boy.
If the name sounds weird, it's probably coming to Switch.
Probably. You know, looking through this list and the number of games that are coming to Switch, that
it's too much.
I fear that we're going back to the Wii era with all the shovelware.
Yep.
And it was just like everybody wanted to get a game out on the Wii, and didn't matter what the quality was or how, if it was a garbage game or not.
There is really no quality control on the Switch. That's the disappointing thing. And unfortunately, it's also flown over to PlayStation and Xbox as well. Not to this degree, but...
Yeah, that's true. Like, Nintendo really needs to bring back the seal of quality. Yeah. They had it on the NES and I think the Super NES.
Oh, Super NES for sure.
Dropped it. Yeah, and then they dropped it and it was just called the Nintendo Seal.
Yeah.
And it was on the end, pretty much going forward. And honestly, they need to bring it back. Sure, it would cause games to be delayed a bit more, but then we would have better quality stuff coming out.
And then the eShop wouldn't just be like a garbage mine. Well, like
do you remember a game on the Wii U, Meme Run?
No.
Google it. For those of you that don't know, since we're speaking of like crappy games, Meme Run it's an endless runner created by an American indie dev, Ninja Pig Studios, for the Wii U's eShop. And it's pretty much just full of internet memes. So the main character is a stick figure with a troll face for a head. The levels are made up of the Lenny faces.
This is hurting my eyes.
Yeah, the game was supposed to appeal to both hardcore and casual audiences. But it was criticized like insane before it was even released for its quality.
Yeah.
Wow. Nintendo Life gave it a 1 out of 10. Nintendo News gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Nintendo Enthusiast gave it a 2 out of 10. I think there was so much negative press about it. I think the game ended up getting pulled from the eShop.
Oh, thank God.
Supposedly there was a Reddit post, supposedly from the copyright holder of the troll face, claims he sent a DMCA notice to Nintendo to take the game down. According, Meme Run failed Nintendo's legal tests at least 3 times. Like, it's
3 times.
Yeah, and I could be wrong. It was removed from the eShop March 3rd, 2015 by the artist Carlo Ramirez, who I think is the supposed creator of the troll face meme, for copyright infringement. Supposedly, the dev of Meme Run tried creating another game similarly in crap quality. But I don't think that ever made it to the eShop.
Well, just looking at the trailer of it, it's just ripped assets from memes.
Oh, it is.
So, I mean, there's nothing proprietary to that game.
Yeah. Oh, it was garbage. And it was a perfect example of one of the problems that Nintendo has had since I would say since the era of the Wii. The GameCube and N64 weren't too bad, but starting with the Wii and just crap titles coming to it and people just releasing whatever.
I mean, I think I've said it on the show before, but we look at just 1 week of these games. There's on one specific day 16 titles coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
How many are those going to get played by I would say, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. How many of these games are going to get more than 1,000 people playing them? I can see Nidhogg 2, Party Hard, and
Missplosion Man, probably.
Okay, sure.
Please don't touch anything. That sounds like an interesting game.
But the rest, like, who's playing these games? Who has time? Who has time to play BB Bloxburg?
Please don't touch anything. Yeah, this actually looks pretty interesting. Mind you, it's a Steam game.
Mm-hmm.
I may get that, but yeah, I don't know. Nintendo really needs to do something. As much as I love the company, some of the decisions that they've been making as of late have just really been head scratchers. I know they like to pave their own path and do their own thing, but there are times where it's like you got to look at what everybody else is doing and see what people like, and it's like maybe we should kind of go with the flow in that.
And I kind of get it too, because I mean they couldn't pay people enough to put their games on the Wii U. It just didn't get that much third-party support. So now with the Switch, everyone wants their game on the console. So they're probably like, well, open up the gates, let anyone that wants to put a game on come on in. Yeah. And I think at some point, if the life cycle of the Switch is going to be 5-6 years, they gotta close it off at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's, I think, a really good topic for another episode before we dive into this one and make it like a 2-hour episode. Because I have to manually edit this one.
At least it's just 2 voices, though.
That's true, and it's actually gone fairly smoothly.
Yeah.
So, but I think, Steph, we need to go over the instructions for live streaming again.
Or she can just do it from now on.
Yeah, or Steph is just not allowed to travel, or if she does, she has to bring her laptop and everything with her so she can host the live stream from wherever she is.
Don't go see your friends, just host the show.
Exactly. I'm sorry, I have to go do a podcast.
Now don't you move. My hands aren't as steady as they used to be.
By Odin's beard, you shall not cut my hair, lest you feel the wrath of the mighty Thor.
All right. Well, Steve, if people wanted to connect with you online, where could they do so?
You guys can find me on Twitter at @sfigvari, where I'll be talking about stuff like Red Dead some more, and probably a Smash. It's coming up real soon, so I'll be talking about that.
You're the man, Steve.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh, it's so good.
Actually, I've heard that from anybody that's watched Big Mouth, and I've sent them that clip. They've all said that it's really close.
It
to
is.
It's
to the original
shockingly
close.
For me, you can find me on Twitter at ReggieFizameme, where I'm usually talking about voice acting. I'm really hoping that I hear good news today that I get moved on to round 2. There were over 1,200 people that entered the contest, and 50% of them are moving on. So all of the Thanos memes after that were
that's
quite
awesome.
A few of them. Perfect balance and everything. So, I mean, I've got, there's going to be over 600 people that are moving on to round 2. So hopefully I've got a good chance, but we'll find out today. And you can find us as a group on our group Twitter, which is at Canadian Geek CST, or our website, which is canadiangeekcst.wixsite.com/home, where you can find previous episodes, our bios, the whole thing. So tune in next week, where hopefully we will have, more people. I think Josh is going to be around. We'll get Dennis a generator to make sure he doesn't lose power again. And Steph, I know Steph will be back, so hopefully next week we'll do another live show.
Hope so. This was fun, though. I like this. This was fun.
It was, yes. Yeah, it definitely was. And that'll be on the next episode of Canadian Geekcast.
I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.